Good afternoon, I'm Julia, and I'm here with Sydney and Rachel.
And in 2014, Mr. Ashley and some of his advanced video students,
Including all of us.
yes, Rachel, including us, were lucky enough to take a trip to Sturgeon, Michigan, where we were able to film biologists studying sturgeon in the Black River.
We also got to explore the outer region of the Black River looking for native amphibians, reptiles, and other critters.
My favorite part was going to the Pigeon River State Forest in search for elk.
Instead of telling all you folks at home about this, why don't we just show you?
Welcome to our episode of Michigan Wildlife Adventures. We arrived at the house we were staying at on a Friday. It was a big, beautiful house on Mullet Lake that was large enough to accommodate our group of 10 students and 3 chaperones.
On our way out to meet up with the biologist on the Black River, we made our first discovery of the trip, a wood turtle.
Find it right here. We're along the Black River. And basically, another characteristic about the wood turtle that makes it easy to tell is they generally have an orange neck or some orange coloration. But they'll have an orange coloration on their limbs and generally on their neck. They like to eat worms, grubs, things like that on land. They're not a big fish eater. They'll even go after some crustaceans, which is part of the reason that she has more of a hooked beak there. Sam noticed the limb earlier, and we'll see if she'll get it out in a little bit. She's missing a couple claws, couple things from the hand. It's so difficult for a turtle to, first of all, hatch from an egg, because the mortality rate, which means basically the number of turtles that have died before they even hatch, is about 90%, and that's because of raccoons, skunks, all these animals that dig up the eggs. Then when they do hatch, the chance of them actually growing up to this size, especially wood turtles, is probably, my guess is about 1 out of 100 will make it to some type of, teenage to adult years. So she's a pretty lucky turtle. They really take their chance in this environment up here, moving around with the bear and everything else. Bear, wolves, fox, all kinds of different animals that can get these raccoons are one of their worst predators. They literally can just pick them apart. The Blandings turtle I talked about earlier, it has hinges. It's a semi-box turtle. It can close. This turtle, if she walks around on land, an animal finds it, wants to eat it, literally just rips them apart. So that's why she's missing some of the claws. Tommy and I have found, Tommy does the Team Reptile stuff with me. We've found probably, I don't know if you've ever found a wood turtle with me, but when I've taken groups when we found wood turtles, almost every single wood turtle we find is missing a limb or has a stump for a limb or missing part of the tail. The head, they can protect themselves a little more because they can bite and they can get their head all the way in. But as you see their limbs right here, an animal could easily grab those limbs and pick it apart if they wanted to.
How big do they get?
Wood turtles, probably the biggest wood turtle I've ever seen was not twice the size, maybe another third of the size. Females generally, that's why I'm a little surprised about this, but females generally are larger because the females are usually bigger in most turtle species, and you wouldn't know why. What is it?
Eggs.
Yeah, they have more egg carrying capacity. It's like snapping turtles. Most huge snappers you find are females because they're going to carry, a lot of eggs around. So, wasn't there something somebody else asked? Anybody want to hold it? She hasn't peed on me. Yeah.
After we let
Just
the
make
wood
sure you
turtle
guys
go,
watch
we
it.
made our way over to the Black River Sturgeon Hatchery where we met up with the local biologist, Dr. Kim Scribner.
Now, is this the actual hatchery or is this just the research?
It's both. It functions both as a streamside research facility and a production facility. So
Okay.
we contract with the DNR. So part of the funding that runs this, the research grants that we have, includes a production component of it. So some of the people that we hire, part of their responsibilities is involved in producing fish to stock out into the Sheboygan River drainage for restoration each year. And the research fish that we produce in the context of our research is likewise, those fish are likewise stocked back out.
Okay.
Into the drainage.
Huh. Interesting.
I mean, I would
Are they
think
cool?
so, but
Yeah,
I
very
don't.
cool.
I think it's very uncommon for them. But I'm wondering if they do, how much it
Hey,
costs
Alexis.
to
How big
start
are the
from
sturgeons though?
a baby. Like,
Well,
you
the
know what I mean?
babies
'Cause
are
there's
about
one
like this big.
So
And
a
then
sturgeon
2-year-olds.
costs a certain amount of money to raise, right?
The next morning, we arrived at one of the research sites along the Black River. It was a very cold morning, but we were all excited to get started. Hi, I'm here with Sharon, who is a sturgeon ambassador for the Sturgeon for Tomorrow. So will you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, I'm here at the campground, which is State Forest Campground. No, it's not really a campground, it's just State Forest land. Making sure nobody poaches the sturgeon while they're up here doing their thing. And the guys from Michigan State are getting the eggs.
So how long have you been doing this for?
We've been doing it for 10 years now.
10 years.
10 years, yeah. We camped last year for 31 days. This year's only for 2 weeks, but it's a good thing to do.
What is the coolest thing you have seen since you've been here?
Seeing kids get to touch a sturgeon. And the MSU guys will bring the sturgeon up to the top, where they can touch them and feel them and let the kids see what a sturgeon is like. That is the neatest thing to me. And the neatest thing we've also seen is 40 fish in one day come up. That was cool. They were like 6 in a time going. It was wild. And just being out here, seeing the eagles, seeing the golden eagles, seeing the bald eagles, seeing turkeys, skeets, water snakes, anything.
All right, thank you. And so the search for sturgeon began with the biologist heading down into the water.
Biologists actually have to dive down this very dark water and look and feel for the sturgeon. It started out slow, but after a little while they had their first catch of the day.
Well done, well done. I've been here taking it right before.
And then the fun began. It seemed like every 5 to 10 minutes or so the biologists were bringing up another sturgeon. Because of the strong current, the biologists had to sometimes help each other back up to shore.
You have to push the center button, Tim. I should have told you that, huh?
It does.
Gary's stuck in the ice age. You pointed to the wrong one.
Soon we were up close and personal with a large lake sturgeon. What an awesome experience.
You can see his barbels up there, and they're underneath that mouth. They pop up, sucks the wings off the bottom, filters all the food out. Bottom feeding? Yeah.
Nice big mouth, huh?
Great. Yeah. So we tag them with the external ploy tag. You see these here? Each fish has an individual color combination, so you can recognize it just by observing it. You also tag it internally with two biomark pet tag and the Oregon RFID tag. It's kind of like the microchip you put in your pet. I'm sure Dr. Kim already talked about it some, or will be shortly if he has not. And that way each fish has a permanent identity from year to year, and then while they're in the river you can identify individual fish as well.
Hi, now I'm here with Dr. Scribner, a professor at Michigan State. So what can you tell us about your facility?
Well, the facility that we have here actually at the hatchery is both a research and a production facility. The facility was built based on an agreement with a local hydropower company, Tower Kleber Limited Partnership, to supply a building which would help with the restoration of the species. And so when their license was up for renewal, they negotiated with the Department of Natural Resources and they built the building that you were at yesterday, the hatchery and research building. So the building serves two purposes. Number one, it allows us to use it as a research facility. So there are equipments, tanks, various other pieces of equipment that allow us to manipulate things which simulate in a much more reduced context what's going on in the stream, right? So we have questions, what is the effect of flow or temperature, for instance, on incubation time for the eggs or on larval growth. And so these are things that are very difficult to monitor in the stream, but we can do so in a highly replicated way, so we can actually quantify that in a statistical sense and come to some conclusions about factors which are limiting recruitment. This whole program here started many years ago with an observation from the Department of Natural Resources that the population here in Black Lake was declining, and it was declining rather significantly. And so rather restrictive regulations went in place to restrict the fishing to try to minimize the adult mortality. But we quickly realized that this population really wasn't naturally recruiting, right? They weren't producing small sturgeon which were growing up to sexual maturity. And so the research that Michigan State started in collaboration with the Department of Natural Resources started in 2003. And the real goals of that research were to identify the factors which are limiting recruitment. So why is it that high proportions of eggs are dying, right? These females are incredibly fecund. So that big female that you saw, she probably had close to 2 million eggs. So how can a female that has 2 million eggs not be successfully reproducing? And so the purpose of the project was to learn a little bit more about basic ecology of the species and to understand more what was limiting natural recruitment. And this particular river is ideally suited for that work because most of the places that lake sturgeon spawn at are very, very large rivers. They're deep, they're very wide, they're very difficult to work in, so it's very difficult to handle a lot of fish. This is a relatively small, wadable stream. We have access to adults, eggs, larvae, all the life history stages, and so we can actually collect data in a natural context, which is really very, very unique for the species anywhere in its range.
What is the process you go through when you catch a sturgeon?
Well, the primary information and the means that we can go back and see whether these fish have been caught in multiple years are these small little tags. They're called passive inducible transponder or pit tags. They're similar to the little chips that you put in your pets, so if they get lost you can just wand them, right? And so all these fish are tagged with two of these pit tags. One of them's tagged sort of here in the pectoral fin, and one's tagged in back. And that allows us to do a number of things. We can take and wand the fish, and we have a 15-digit electronic code where we can see when we caught the fish last, and we can tie it to a very large database for those individuals. We want to also identify the fish so we can see them visually. You can't see the tag, and it's hard to recognize an individual fish. And so you'll see these fish are tagged with 3-inch long little spaghetti tags, and they're different colors. And we mark the fish on the right side as a male, on the left side as a female.
Thanks, Dr. Scribner. We appreciate your time.
Well, thanks very much for coming out.
What an amazing experience we had at the Black River with Dr. Scribner and the sturgeon. Hopefully we can return next year and learn even more about the study, as well as about Sturgeon for Tomorrow, which plays a major role in the protection of this magnificent species. Our next mission for the trip was to find some more reptilian life in the area, including 5-lined skinks, which Mr. Ashley has found before in the same area. It didn't take too long before we located our very first one.
Their tail will come off, so I don't want to pull his tail.
They have these in California, don't they?
Yeah, Tommy, come down here and get your hand in there. Try to block him. I know. Don't let him go. He's right. See him?
Oh,
You got him? He will try to bite you. You got him?
Yeah, I got
Or her. That's a female, you guys.
We got one!
That's a skink. That's a skink.
All that.
It's called a 5-line skink.
I found it!
Nice job, Sam. Do you know why it's called a 5-line skink?
Because there's 5 lines on it.
Oh, yeah. Don't move for that.
How do you know it's female?
Where's it at?
You can actually tell it's a female because of the blue tail. Adult males are usually more of a darker color, such as the one here on the right. The 5-lined skink is one of 2 species of lizards in Michigan, and they are fairly common in the Sheboygan area. A few minutes after finding these 2 skinks, we found another skink. This one had actually lost its tail.
Check it out, you guys. Isn't that awesome?
Oh, why did it fall off?
It's nerve impulses because they detach when a predator grabs them.
Why?
Because then the predator will see this moving. They'll basically crawl away slowly. Yeah, oh yeah.
That's weird.
What's it called? When it grows a new one.
I don't remember.
Regeneration.
A new tail.
Are you guys filming that? Hopefully.
No, we were just watching it.
Well, you never know. Isn't that awesome though? Yeah, it'll heal up fast though. Looks like the head.
Here, let me see
It does.
where'd it go.
Let's put it right by the. See how he's kind of being solid though? Like, I mean, not solid, but kind of like holding still. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's because he knows that the nerve impulses will keep triggering this to move.
So he's like not moving so that it doesn't attract.
Right.
him.
What would the predator do? I mean, think of a fish or something else. What do they go after? Movement.
Yeah.
These
You
things
know?
hurt when they bite?
Yes, they sting a little.
You're more than welcome to our 37 acres.
Oh, thanks, Matt. I don't think we'll make it out. Did you guys know they're born live birth?
Yeah.
They're not late. They don't. They're not born from eggs. Yeah.
They just pop out.
They come out of the mama.
Just like.
Well, they come out of the membrane. It's like a little jelly membrane. Usually anywhere from like, anything from, I've seen 3 or 4 up to 50 come out
Does
of
it
a
bite?
mom. I don't think it will.
It used to though. It was delayed.
Unless it was.
Sure.
You are.
Yes, you are.
You're just a baby.
Oh, yes, you are.
Our next stop was at an area that Mr. Ashley likes to refer to as the sand pit. Although we did not find much here, we sure had tons of fun climbing up the hills and checking out the scenery.
I wish we had stuff like this in Bend.
We need a line. I'm jumping right to your. I know. Let's go up there.
We left the sand pit and made our way to another spot along the Black River. It did not take long before we found a northern water snake.
What the heck is a mink?
The eyes would be like almost
at that,
normal at the top of its head. All right. This is a.
Northern water snake.
I'm looking to see if it's a female or male.
But it's the water snake.
It is a northern water snake. It's a male, and I'd say probably 3-4 years old.
It's spraying.
Is it spraying?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't want to ride with me if it sprays.
Yeah. Yep.
Why?
Where's the spray at?
I think it's on your pants.
Where? Let's see, not enough. Do you guys know
It's
what the
on your
spray is?
hand.
Anyone remember what I said?
It's
acid
and
and
pee
poison.
It's a mixture of, it's like a chemical.
Is it
It's
on your hand?
feces? No, I don't think so. It's just water. It
No,
has a spray
there's
as far
like
as I know.
brown stuff on your hand.
This
Other
right-
side. No. That.
Oh, right here?
No. That hand.
Left hand. On the top.
That's just dirt.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. It's just dirt. These guys give live birth too. So northern water snakes give live birth too.
They give live birth.
Yeah, they don't lay eggs. Like they're born right from the belly. But this is a fairly young one.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah. About half the snakes in Michigan do. Even the rattlesnake, Michigan rattlesnake, live birth.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Did everybody get video and shots and all that?
Don't let it go, Tommy.
We also found a green frog, and Tommy told us how to check if it was male or female.
Tell us how do you know it's a male?
Well, you can tell it's a male because of the way it is. No. There's yellow on the bottom
Hey, did I
jaw.
leave the bucket right there, you guys?
Hold on, let me see
There's
it.
yellow on the bottom where? Jaw?
Jaw, yeah.
Well, now it's blurry because you put it too close.
Okay, Alexis. With bullfrogs and green frogs, you can also tell by their tympanum, which is also their eardrum. They have external eardrums. And when it's bigger than the eye, it normally means that it's a male.
So this is the eardrum?
That's the eardrum. That circle is the eardrum.
Julia, it's okay.
After leaving the river, it was time to head out on our quest to see elk. So for that, we would need to hit the road and make our way into the Pigeon River State Forest.
Nice. Oh, there's more right there.
Yeah. Get some shots?
That's a pretty big turkey.
After traveling for a while, we got very lucky and spotted an elk not too far off the road.
Keep going.
Although we were only lucky enough to see one elk on the trip, we did get a nice surprise when we came upon a black bear in the middle of the road. Unfortunately, no one had a camera ready, but it did make for an exciting as well as funny moment.
Is he still running? There we go. You see him?
There it is, there it is. There it is.
Can you get him? Where?
It's right
Pull up,
there.
tell me what to do.
It's.
Can you see him still?
No.
We lost it.
Oh my god!
You see it?
No.
Does anybody see him?
No.
Crap. Oh, he ran fast.
Dang it.
It was a little cub, wasn't it? No, that's...
No, it was like a yearling. It might have been full grown even. Anybody else
Do
see
your bear
it?
call. Do your bear call. I didn't believe you. Believe you when you said you found it.
What an amazing adventure we all had, and we can't wait to come back up here to Sheboygan to search for more wildlife.
Well, folks, that is all we have for you today.
Hopefully we see you in 2015. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Michigan Wildlife Adventure.